The end of Anno Domini. It began with a food crisis caused by overpopulation, accelerating pollution, and ecological collapse. Eventually, Earth would no longer be a planet fit to sustain human life. On this particular issue, humanity found common ground, ultimately proposing a single solution: force all of humanity into space. In other words, a space emigration program to construct colonies in the void, thereby forging a new home for humanity amongst the stars. To carry out such a historically unprecedented planetary-wide initiative, the entire world was unified under the newly established Earth Federation, which subsequently enacted the Space Emigration Act, mandating the compulsory relocation of the species. In light of the fact that only certain nations and entities were responsible for polluting the planet, some reasonably argued that it was unjust to make everyone pay the price. Nonetheless, in order to preserve the Earth, the very cradle of life, people had no choice but to accept fate and act as one. Although each step along the way was fraught with danger, the Earth Federation government started relocating the planet's population in accordance with the Space Emigration Act, once the first space colony had been completed. At last, humanity began to settle the stars. Accordingly, a new calendar system was enacted with the inaugural year of space emigration as its epoch. It was a farewell to the old era known as Anno Domini, or the Year of the Lord, which had spanned over 2 millennia. Once torn apart by its differences, humanity had ushered in a new era that embraced all forms of diversity, the universal century. However, by UC 0051, half a century had passed since the start of space emigration. When more than 80% of the global population had migrated into space, the space emigration program was suddenly suspended. When groups who sought to stay on the planet emerged, the Earth Federation government recognized their right to. Officially, this exception was meant to allow a small number to inhabit the planet in order to preserve the natural environment and human culture. However, these groups consisted of the so-called privileged class, key Federation government figures, cabinet ministers, business magnates, and other elites. And so, humanity was once again torn apart by its differences, this time, those between Earth's inhabitants and spacenoids. No citation of human history is needed. Differences give rise to division and discrimination, which in turn spark the emergence of those who seek justice. Following the pivotal year that was UC 0079, numerous individuals rose to challenge these inequalities, igniting conflicts that would span the solar system. Drawing upon these historical facts, we will explore the backgrounds of those who challenged the Earth Federation and shed light on their underlying motivations. The year is now UC 0105. Over 100 years have passed since the dawn of the universal century, and the time has come to reflect on that history. Adelaide, a city located in the southern part of the Australian continent. It is the current capital of the Earth Federation government, and preparations are underway for an upcoming international conference. The Australian continent on which Adelaide is bears the scars of a devastating war. Scars that could be attributed to the collective karma of humanity. The war born from the Great Divide between space and Earth had virtually obliterated this great continent. The Zeon War of Independence. UC 0079, the Principality of Zeon formally declared war on the Earth Federation. Not but 3 seconds later, it launched a surprise attack on the Earth Federation Forces fleet, multiple space colonies, and the lunar city of Granada, using nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. In addition to Granada, it had seized sides 1, 2, and 4 by the next day. Then, it turned those very colonies into massive weapons. These massive weapons, 6.5 kilometers wide and 30 kilometers long, rained down upon Earth's major cities, wreaking apocalyptic levels of havoc on the planet. The impacts unleashed colossal tsunamis that swallowed entire coastal regions, and the airborne debris polluted the skies, triggering catastrophic climate change. Most of Earth's population was decimated in one way or another, and the planet's fragile environment was pushed over the precipice. According to records from the time, the first surprise attack launched by the Principality of Zeon claimed the lives of about several billion spacenoids. These colony drops are also believed to have claimed the lives of approximately 1 billion of Earth's inhabitants. In total, the death toll amounted to half of humanity's population. It took but 1 week. In that short span of time following the outbreak of the war, half of the human race perished. Having unquestionably gained the upper hand, the Zeon forces moved to seize the remaining colonies to ensure the Earth Federation's unconditional surrender. In truth, early in the conflict, some within the Earth Federation government underestimated the Principality of Zeon, believing they could negotiate to extract some concessions. For those living on Earth, the realities unfolding in space may have sounded like little more than fairy tales from a faraway land. However, the wind turned when colony drops started. Space problems were now Earth problems. Only when their own noses were bloodied did the cabinet members finally open their eyes and take action, issuing orders to the Earth Federation forces. Zeon had earned their wrath. Thus, the opposing fleets of the Principality of Zeon and Earth Federation clashed at Side 5, the colony cluster otherwise known as Loom. It was the first full-scale space fleet battle in human history. The Battle of Loom had begun Special Stages, the Changemakers. Stage 1, Earth's inhabitants and spacenoids. Inside 5, the ferocity of the battle left Loom in ruins. The Earth Federation forces lost the majority of their main fleet, as well as their commander, when the flagship Ananke was sunk and Johann Ibrahim Revel, vice admiral at the time, was taken prisoner. The outcome was a decisive victory for the Principality of Zeon. However, the Zeon forces also suffered devastating losses, suppressing their potential for large-scale attacks. Ultimately, the takeaway was horrifyingly simple. In little over a month's time, 1 out of every 2 human beings had died. Looking back on these events, some argue that since the Principality of Zeon was dwarfed by the Earth Federation, a swift conclusion was its only hope. That is, the Principality of Zeon needed to strike a blow so devastating that the Earth Federation would be forced to its knees. From a strategic perspective, that may have been true. Nevertheless, when viewed through the ideological lens of Giran Zabi, Supreme Commander and de facto leader of the Principality of Zeon, a different perspective on the Zeon War of Independence comes into view. To be continued in Part 2, Giran Zabi, the Gambit of Tyrants. The Survival of the Fittest. This paper was published in UC 0071. Its author was none other than Giran Zabi, who would go on to become the Supreme Commander of the Principality of Zeon. In it, he espoused the idea that spacenoids, especially the citizens of Zeon, were not only highly capable, but also genetically superior. Furthermore, he goes on to argue that Earth's inhabitants, whom he deems an inferior breed, would inevitably decline, leaving the citizens of Zeon as the fittest to rule the Earth sphere. This supremacist ideology resonated with space noids who harbored resentment toward Earth's inhabitants, and they embraced it enthusiastically. This momentum was undeniably a contributing factor in the Principality of Zeon's stunning success, which allowed it to defy the odds following the outbreak of the Zeon War of Independence. After emerging victorious in the Battle of Loom, Giran entered into negotiations for a ceasefire agreement, aiming to bring a swift resolution to the conflict. The negotiations were held in Antarctica, where the Principality of Zeon demanded nothing short of unconditional surrender. The agreement was signed, and Giran was convinced of his victory. However, General Johann Ibrahim Revel, who had been taken prisoner, escaped from Side 3 at this critical juncture and broadcast a message to the Earth sphere. The message re-examined the origins of this war, but it also sharply criticized the atrocities committed by the Principality of Zeon. And it ended with the famous words that pushed the Earth Federation forces who had been leaning toward a ceasefire back into continuing the war.
Zeon's forces are depleted.
General Revel saw the inner situation of the Principality of Zeon with his own eyes and realized that they were fighting under extreme conditions. With this statement, the ceasefire agreement between both sides was rendered null and void. The only agreement that was reached was confined to the rules of engagement, which prohibited the use of weapons of mass destruction, including massive weapons, and defined the treatment of prisoners. Moreover, while some have linked General Revel's escape to an internal conflict within the Zabi family attempting to topple Giran, the truth of the matter remains unclear. Following this, the Zeon forces under Giran's command launched one Earth landing operation after another until they occupied most of Earth's surface. For a time, the advantage was theirs. However, just as Revel had predicted, the Earth Federation forces eventually regained ground, turning the tide and pushing the theater of war into space. Side 3, also known as Munzo. As it was located above the far side of the moon, it was the most distant space colony cluster from the Earth. At the time, these sealed colonies, which were comprised of over 40 installations, were home to more than 150 million people. One of those colonies was infamously converted into a laser cannon in the final days of the Zeon War of Independence. This national project, which necessitated the forced evacuation of all 3 million colony residents, was conceived by Giran and carried out with the approval of Degwin Soto Zabi, sovereign of the Principality of Zeon. It was a strategic weapon designed to annihilate the Earth Federation forces' main fleet in a single shot. Thus was born the Solar Ray, a 6-kilometer-wide laser cannon.
Under our care and guidance, we, the chosen superior people of Zeon, will at last ensure humanity's eternal survival. If this war wears on any further, it poses a threat to mankind itself. Now is the time to teach the incompetent Earth Federation the truth. That we, Zeon, must rise up for the sake of tomorrow.
The battle that raged around the space fortress Abao Aku effectively marked the end of the Zeon Independence War. Having eliminated nearly a third of the Earth Federation force's main fleet, including General Revel, with a single shot from the Solar Ray, Giran proceeded to commit all his remaining forces to the final phase of the war. The stakes could not have been higher. Thus, to rally his nation to victory, he repeatedly invoked his supremacist ideology. Meanwhile, when questioned by Sovereign Degwin about the post-war order, Giran offered the following reply.
After the war, we shall keep the population reduced, retaining only the superior race, for the survival of humanity and for the purity of the Earth sphere.
This response revealed both his arrogance and his concealed agenda. The war that Giran Zabi waged was an efficient means to directly curb the overpopulation, which was the main threat to the natural environment. Thereafter, he would wrest the planet from the hands of the Earth Federation and take the reins of the Earth sphere himself. This, he claimed, was the key to the survival of the species. That is to say, his solution for saving the environment. His war, however, was about to come to an abrupt end.
Don't send out our mobile suits yet. Redirect half the vessels from Field S here. Damned Federation. Quite the display after losing the bulk of your forces.
Special Stages, The Changemakers, Stage 2, Giran Zabi, The Gambit of Tyrants.
Is there anything that can stop my army?
You're more foolish than I even thought.
It all came to a head in the middle of the Battle of Abao Aku. Giranzabi was betrayed by his own blood, closing the curtain on his story. It did not take long before Abao Aku fell to the relentless assault of the Federation forces, and with it, the Zabi dynasty collapsed. The surviving senators returned the national system from the Principality of Xi'an to the Republic of Xi'an. Then, on January 1st, UC 0080, the Earth Federation and the Republic of Xi'an ratified a peace accord. Finally, the war was over. The toll that this year-long war exacted, however, was steep. The total population of the Earth sphere had been reduced by more than its half. Side 7, which was still under construction, and Side 3, the homeland of the Republic of Xi'an, were destroyed. So too were Sides 1, 2, 4, and 5. Only the neutral Side 6 escaped the destruction. Earth was no exception. Not only did it suffer catastrophic damage from the colony drops, but countless areas were also in desperate need of aid, particularly regions such as Europe and East Asia, war zones that were left in ruins. Post-war reconstruction was in the hands of the Earth Federation. However, its stewardship ended up sowing the seeds of a new conflict. In fact, the rift between Earth's inhabitants and Spacenoids only grew wider. In closing, it is worth considering Giranzabi's own appraisal of the politics that shaped the universal century, as expressed to his father Degwin.
What has absolute democracy brought to the Earth Federation? Nothing but more bureaucracy and cronyism, not to mention a populace only good at wasting resources.
To be continued in Part 3, Jamitov Haimem, an extremist ideology. On July 7th, UC 0085, the Banshee 30 colony of Side 1 was the site of a massive anti-Earth Federation demonstration. The protest would later become known as the Banshee 30 incident, a tragedy wrought by human hands. Even beyond UC 0100, the Banshee 30 colony continues to drift through the void, serving as a mass coffin for the dead within. In December of UC 0083, following an armed uprising against the Earth Federation by Zeon remnants, an organization proclaiming Earth supremacy emerged. They were known as the Titans, a special unit within the Earth Federation forces that drew exclusively from the ranks of Earthborn elites. Establishing a base on the Side 7 colony dubbed Green Oasis, they oppressed Spacenoids under the pretext of chasing down Zeon remnants. As their ideology became more extreme, so did the twisted nature of their organization. The name of its founder and supreme leader was Jamitov Haimem. He was considered a fanatical Earth supremacist. What was it that he sought to accomplish by leading these giants within the Earth Federation forces, and later even seizing control of the very heart of the Earth Federation government? Perhaps an answer can yet be found. For the Earth Federation, responding to the colossal damage caused by the one-year war was of paramount importance. And the course chosen was the restoration of the natural environment. This would have been a reasonable decision had it been made in the old era. However, since the dawn of the universal century, most of humanity had made its home in space. In fact, 4 out of 5 people lived amongst the stars. Despite that, the Earth Federation prioritized the planet, effectively abandoning the restoration of the space habitats known as sides, and in doing so, Spacenoids themselves. The ones who made that decision were Earth's inhabitants. Considering that they were the privileged class living on Earth, it seemed particularly callous. The inequalities between Earth's inhabitants and Spacenoids only worsened, and in time, this discrimination gave rise to anti-Earth Federation movements. Even some who belonged to the Earth Federation Space Force were counted among their members. After all, they too lived in space. This chain of events eventually led to the anti-Earth Federation demonstration on the Banshee 30 colony of Side 1. And the Titans, answering the call to suppress the demonstration, used poison gas to take the lives of 15 million colony residents. Not one soul survived. A massacre that horrific was more than sufficient to harden the hearts of Spacenoids. New Hong Kong, a city ranked among the most scenic tourist destinations still existing on Earth. While famed for its mass driver-equipped spaceport, the city is also remembered for its hitherto unprecedented levels of wartime devastation. That was during the Grips War. What had begun as an internal conflict within the Earth Federation forces in UC 0087 developed into a power struggle that spread across the Earth sphere. UC 0087. The Psycho Gundam suddenly appeared in New Hong Kong. The gargantuan mobile armor launched an attack in the city streets teeming with non-combatants. Its assault was indiscriminate. Special stages, the Changemakers. Stage 3, Jamitov Haimem, an extremist ideology. This would not be the last atrocity committed by the Titans. The self-destruction of the Earth Federation forces base Jaburo with nuclear weapons, the colony drop on the lunar city of Granada, the colony laser attack on Side 2. The Titans were on the rampage against the wrong enemy. Surely it must have appeared that way to many. However, Paptimus Shirako, the man who would later assassinate Jamatov and seize control of the Titans, expressed a different view.
Jamatov made the EFF into the Titans in order to wipe out those who cling to Earth. By starting a war that would wreck the economy, the people of Earth would eventually starve to death.
To put it another way, while Jamatov may have been a member of the Earth Federation forces, he was attempting to wage war against the Earth Federation itself. But why? The trick to solving the puzzle lies in the fact that he was a dyed-in-the-wool Earth supremacist. To consider the preservation of the natural environment. If that is indeed Jamatov's true intent, then the seemingly reckless tyranny of the Titans begins to form a more coherent picture. Jamatov believed that, in order to restore the natural environment, Earth's inhabitants had to be removed from the planet. The Space Emigration Act had lost its teeth. Therefore, he needed a crisis that left no choice in the matter. A crisis so severe that it would paralyze Earth's economy. A crisis named war. To achieve this, a trigger was required. And there could be no better trigger than the wrath of Spacenoids, if only it was fierce enough to wipe out all of Earth's inhabitants. From the very beginning, the Titans oppressed Spacenoids without mercy. There is no doubt that this cornered and provoked them, ultimately escalating into a conflict that engulfed the Earth sphere. Jamatov may have cleverly concealed his hidden obsession, and with unmatched cunning, deceived and exploited the Earth Federation government, inching ever closer to fulfilling his true objective. And yet, he failed in the end. After a certain incident, his schemes collapsed along with the Titans. To be continued in Part 4, Blex Forer, a supremacist's perjury. Spacenoids were seething with anger. After the one-year war, the Earth Federation poured its vast resources into rebuilding the cities of the old era. From the perspective of Spacenoids, the restoration of Earth was nothing more than thinly veiled, self-serving arrogance. Having forgotten what forced space emigration on all humanity in the first place, Earth's inhabitants were repeating the same mistakes they had made in the past. Inevitably, the tide of resistance against the Earth Federation swelled. Anti-Earth Federation movements spread steadily among Spacenoids. Then came UC-0084, an armed organization formed around Earth Federation forces, Commodore Blex Forer, perhaps better known by the acronym AUG. Bearing witness to those times, an AUG pilot said the following:
"Why can't some people see that building civilizations on the Earth also pollutes the planet?"
The AUG and the Titans, Two organizations that both emerged from the Earth Federation forces, and yet both were diametrically opposed. Their conflict is remembered as the Grips War. On one side of the divide was Blex Forer, leader of the A-Yug. On the other, Jemitov Haimem, leader of the Titans. Curiously, despite their opposition, the core beliefs they held were notably similar. Namely, the preservation of the Earth. Blex described Earth's inhabitants as people whose souls were weighed down by gravity, and he insisted that their elimination was essential for the planet's survival. Unable to abide their continued presence on the planet, he believed that they had to be compelled to find a new home in space. When he fell victim to an untimely death, however, his ambition was left unachieved. Still, those who continued endeavor in his place went on to leave a profound mark on the Earth sphere. A closer analysis of those events requires a retrospective examination of the legacy which Blex Forer left behind. Spacenoids were dissatisfied with the Earth Federation's post-war efforts. Accordingly, anti-Earth Federation movements steadily grew in fervor. Amidst this turmoil emerged Blex Forer, Commodore of the Earth Federation Space Force. Through his connections with the lunar city of Granada and Anaheim Electronics, which had grown into a massive conglomerate, he built up his military capabilities. He was motivated by his concerns over the Earth Federation's Earth First policies and the increasingly radicalizing Titan's suppression of anti-Earth Federation movements. In the end, his deepest fears were borne out horrifically. That was the Banshee 30 incident, caused by the Titans under Jemitov Haimem's command. Despite claiming the lives of some 15 million people, this atrocious massacre was initially concealed not only from the public, but also from the ranks of the Titans themselves. Exposing the tyranny of the Titans, and by association, the Earth Federation forces, would inevitably weaken the Earth Federation's grip on space. The Earth Federation took strict control over all information, and the massacre was presented as a case of total population loss caused by an epidemic disease. Unwilling to accept responsibility for the Titans' actions, the Earth Federation evaded the consequences through expedient measures, a choice that would become emblematic of its submission to these giants. One of the few individuals who came to know the entire course of events was none other than Blex Forer. The depth of his anger and disappointment can be gleaned from the words of one of his closest associates.
The Federation acts like the next Zabi family, can't you see that?
For the A-Yugi leadership, this was far from a figurative remark. On the contrary, they treated the threat with the utmost seriousness. Thus, the A-Yug rose up in armed revolt, driven by a single conviction: someone must put an end to the Titans. The conflict between the A-Yug and the Titans is not only an internal one within the Earth Federation forces, but also a proxy war between the Earth Federation and Spacenoids. This twisted conflict spiraled outward from Side 7 in UC 0087. Dakar, situated at the westernmost edge of Africa, stood on the front lines of the desertification that had continued unabated since the old era. It was after the one-year war ended that the Earth Federation government relocated its capital to the city. Why would it choose to place its new capital in such a harsh environment, where the desert itself was encroaching? Some believe it was a symbolic declaration that the mission to restore the natural environment through space emigration had not been forgotten. The internal conflict within the Earth Federation forces, between the AUG and the Titans, that had broken out in UC 0087, continued to escalate. What began with the Banchi 30 incident was followed by the nuclear explosion at the former Earth Federation Forces headquarters in Jaburo, and the indiscriminate attack on Hong Kong City. Nuclear contamination spread, particularly across South America, and indiscriminate attacks in urban areas led to many deaths, missing persons, and dramatic economic losses. Faced with these senseless atrocities, to say nothing of such a feckless government as the Earth Federation, Blex IV devised a countermeasure. Against those whose souls are pulled by gravity and pollute the earth, and against the corrupt politicians enabling them, he pursued an urgent motion. In effect, he moved to seize a moment of weakness in the parliament, forcefully asserting his platform and igniting debate. However, Blex himself was unable to stand in the parliament. Assassination. It happened while he was sleeping at the hotel where he was staying. This sudden loss shocked the AUG leadership and caused the whole mechanism to go wildly off course. AUG was forced to endure a political vacuum, repeatedly suffering at the hands of the Titans, yet continuing its resistance. And then, the day finally came. Before he drew his last breath, Blex had left his dying wish with a close associate who was also a leading figure in the AUG, Lieutenant Quattro Bagina.
I apologize to the members of the Assembly and the citizens of the Federation who are watching on television for our sudden intrusion. I am Lieutenant Quattro Bagina of the AUG. Before that name, I was known by another. Perhaps you have heard of it. I am the man who at one time went by the name Shar Aznable. Here and now, I speak to you as someone who has inherited the will of Zeon. Needless to say, not as Shar Aznable of the Principality of Zeon, but as the son of Zeon Dakun himself.
Special stages, the Changemakers. Stage 4. Blex IV, a supremacist's perjury. In response to the AUG's forced occupation of the Dakar Assembly, the Titans launched an assault. The incident was broadcast not only to the Assembly, but throughout the Earth sphere. The true nature of the Titans and the corruption of the Earth Federation government were exposed to the cleansing light of the sun.
I've come to realize that the Titans, through their stranglehold on the Earth Federation forces, are guilty of resorting to methods even more insidious than those of the Zabi family. The reason people went into space was to prevent the Earth from collapsing under the weight of humanity. And then, having pushed the biosphere out into space, people fell under the delusion that they had attained the very power of humanity itself. It is unfortunate that we share a history of allowing forces like the Zabi family to run amok. We must never again allow that history to repeat itself. Why is it so hard to believe that by venturing into space, humanity can enhance its potential? Our message is simple. Humanity must stop defiling the Earth. The Titans all have one thing in common. Their souls are weighed down by the Earth, and that's why they're trying to devour it. For too long, humanity has idled in this cradle called Earth. However, it is past time humanity left the nest to set out on its own. If we can do that, there will be no more need to fight one another, let alone pollute the Earth. Unless we return the Earth to the care of nature and learn to survive on our own in space, it will cease to be a blue planet. Even Dakar itself is about to be swallowed whole by the desert. That is how weary the Earth has become. Now everyone wishes to preserve this beautiful planet. And if so, one has an excuse to cling to the Earth like a parasite out of selfish desire. In such a dreadful time, the Titans are now launching an attack. Witness their tyranny for yourselves. They rose out of the old Earth Federation forces, calling all who oppose them evil. But that itself is evil, and driving humanity into ruin. I'm certain that those watching on television understand. This is how the Titans operate. It was wrong of us to seize this assembly by force, but the Titans would destroy it, even while many of their own supporters sit within.
The broadcast also resounded within the ranks of the Titans, rattling those soldiers who had never questioned the nobility of their cause. Both the Titans and Earth Federation were parasites clinging to the Earth, defiling it as they fed off it. What might the late Blex have made of this speech? From that day forward, the Earth Federation reversed course, turning its back on the Titans. Likewise, public opinion turned against them. What happened next is familiar history. Jamitov's designs to cripple Earth's economy ended in failure, and Blex's fervent wish for humanity to complete its emigration into space also remained unfulfilled. The war began as an internal conflict within the Earth Federation forces between Blex Forer and Jamitov Haimem. A war in which both sides, although united in the belief that humanity should not pollute the Earth and belonging to the same service, failed to share that common purpose and clashed.
The ones who need to be destroyed are those whose souls are weighed down by Earth. But letting so many people die for that is wrong.
Ultimately, the cries of this pilot who fought in the Grips War echoed in vain. 6 years later, UC 0093. The Principality of Zeon's famed hero of the One-Year War, the Red Comet, took the stage of history once more. The part he would play was that of Neo-Zeon's leader, and his motivation was to purge the Earth Federation. To be continued in Part 5, Shar Aznable, The Wages of Sin. The One-Year War, the Grips War, then the rebellion led by Neo-Zeon. Conflicts of every scale have arisen across the Earth sphere, but what cause lay at the root of them all? A power struggle? Anger at a corrupt regime? Or was it something else entirely? The endless cycle of war placed severe strain on the lives of spacenoids, ultimately creating countless refugees. And one man was about to make a choice that would put his own future at stake. What follows is an examination of that final decision made by Shar Aznable, the Red Comet, and the resistance which he led. During the One-Year War, that legendary pilot struck fear into the heart of every soldier in the Earth Federation forces. During the Grips War, he was known as Quattro Bagina, the figure behind which the Ayug rallied in the wake of Blex's assassination. While those two were in fact the same man, both names were but aliases. His true name was Kasval Remdai Kun. He was born into one of the most consequential bloodlines in the Universal Century. His father was Zeon Zumdai Kun, a former Earth Federation Parliament member who became the founding father of the Republic of Zeon. Kasval undoubtedly felt pride as he watched his father serve the public under the weight of their expectations and admiration. Many believe the Spacenoid call for independence, voiced by Zeon Zoom Dai Kun before the Earth Federation, stemmed from such circumstances as these. In order to restore Earth's natural environment, humanity, as the species responsible for destroying it, must relocate its home into space. Zeon Zumdai Kun was neither an extraordinary being nor a radical ideologue. That much is evident from the validity of his arguments. He called on the Earth Federation to live up to its original purpose and fulfill the Space Emigration Act from the old era, not through force, but through politics. However, amongst the cabinet members and privileged class, who arbitrarily applied the special provisions of the Space Emigration Act to continue enjoying life on Earth, his arguments largely fell on deaf ears. Ultimately, the Space Emigration Act was suspended before its goal could be attained, and Dai Kun declared independence from the Earth Federation, establishing his base on Side 3. In UC 0058, he founded the Republic of Zeon. However, in UC 0068, Zeon Zoom Daikun met a sudden death. There are some who suspect it was an assassination carried out by the Zabi family. When the Zabi family ascended to prominence, the original concept of Spacenoid independence was transformed into a supremacist ideology, culminating in the rise of the Principality of Zeon. Casval, Daikun's legitimate son, lost his birthright. He survived by taking a new name and living in exile. And thus, Shar Aznable was born. Sweetwater, a specially designed colony that was constructed to shelter the swelling masses of refugees. Due to its rushed construction, a makeshift solution in which closed and open-type colonies were forced together was employed, resulting in what was regarded as a perilously unstable structure. UC 0092. An armed organization occupied the colony and rose in rebellion against the Earth Federation. As an anti-Earth Federation organization that followed the ideology of Daikun, they called themselves Neo-Zeon. Its leader was none other than Casval, the orphaned son of Zeon Zoom Daikun. Needless to say, he was better known as Shar Aznable. In UC 0093, Shar called for the purge of the Earth Federation and all those who remained on Earth. His plan, to drop the mining asteroid 5th Luna on the planet.
You know what will happen if this hits the Earth? Earth's temperature will drop so much it'll be uninhabitable. It'll be a nuclear winter.
Those living on Earth only care about themselves. That is why I have decided to exterminate them.
Special stages. The Changemakers. Stage 5. Shar Aznable. The Wages of Sin.
No one has the right to punish other humans that way.
I, Shar Aznable, will purge them all, Amuro.
You're so full of yourself.
The Earth cannot go on like this any longer.
In stark contrast to Shar's swift and meticulously planned rebellion, the Earth Federation forces' response was plainly sluggish. In fact, within the Earth Federation forces, only the Lundo Bell Task Force took decisive action. Even with Bright Noah and Amuro Ray, two heroes who fought their way through the one-year war, leading the way, it could not stop Neo Zeon from dropping Fifth Luna on the planet. Tasked with suppressing anti-Earth Federation movements, Lundo Bell foresaw Shar's resurgence and conducted inspections and investigations in every colony over the course of years. Still, they were unable to track Shar down. The reality that the Lundo Bell was not supported by the Space Noids hindered the progress of their investigation. From the outset, many Space Noids rejected the very notion of the Earth Federation ruling over space from Earth. From their perspective, cooperation was out of the question. Thus, they not only failed to expose Shar's machinations and prevent the rise of the reborn Neo Zeon, but worst of all, the asteroid drop itself. However, Fifth Luna was only the beginning of Shar's plan. Earth freezing operation. His true objective was to render the planet uninhabitable by inducing global freezing, thereby forcing the rest of humanity into space. That is, to put the Earth back into the hands of Mother Nature. During the Grips War, a certain journalist who recognized that Quattro Bagina was in fact Shar appraised his conduct in the following words. Shar has all the makings of a true leader, excepting the spine to become one. By settling for the role of a mobile suit pilot, he sells himself short. He could be the Prime Minister of the Earth Federation instead, even if it took him 10 or 20 years, he thinks. Those who knew that Shar was the son of Zeon Daikun likely expected him to seek a legitimate political resolution of grievances with the Earth Federation, rather than a violent one. The arbitrary enforcement of the Space Emigration Act created inequalities between Earth's inhabitants and Space Noids, sowing the seeds of a conflict that would span 3 decades. It was a problem that Shar Aznable was positioned to solve. If he wasn't suitable for the task, then no one was. Then came that fateful day in UC 0093. Having become the leader of Neo Zeon, Shar Aznable carried out the Axis drop on Earth.
My father, Zeon Zum Daikuna, had made a request for the independence of all Space Noids, but he was assassinated by the Zabi family. Then, calling themselves the Principality of Zeon, the Zabis began a war of independence against Earth. You all know how it ended. The Zabi family was defeated, just as it should have been. But the Earth's government had grown arrogant, and the Federation forces had become corrupt from within, giving birth to anti-Federation movements like the Titans. Haman usurped the Zabi family remnant's name to justify her unbridled actions.
The following is the speech that Shar Aznable gave to his troops before launching the global freezing operation. He fought for the Principality of Zeon in the One-Year War as Shar, and later in the Grips War for the A-Yug, that is, the Earth Federation forces, as Quattro. Along the way, he witnessed the corruption of the Earth Federation with his own eyes, convincing him that any hope of internal reform was impossible. His actions might have been the result of despair. Unless he changed the status quo, there was no hope for the Earth. Having been enforced arbitrarily, the Space Emigration Act was reduced to a dead-letter law. Without the prospect of reform, the inequalities between Earth's inhabitants and spacenoids would persist indefinitely. That conviction drove him to take such a desperate measure as dropping Axis on Earth in order to induce global freezing through a nuclear winter.
I believe that we must do anything possible to prevent war from ever occurring again. This is the true purpose behind our operation to drop Axis onto Earth. Hence, we will purge those who continue to live on Earth and eliminate the source of all wars in the Earth sphere. With your help, I can take my place with my father.
After the death of his father, Casval took on the name Shar, with the goal of saving the Earth and preserving it for the future, by sending all humanity into space. Ironically, he and his father, Zeon, shared the same vision. Shar, however, chose to pursue violent means to achieve it. Shar Aznable's Axis drop. Caught off guard, the Earth Federation could do nothing to stop it, and yet, that calamity never came. The attempted Earth freezing operation ended in failure. To be continued in Part 6, Axis Shock, Penance. Side 1, Londinian. As its designation suggests, it is one of the earliest space colonies that humanity constructed in pursuit of space emigration. It is also the colony where Shar Aznable, leader of Neo-Zeon, attended a clandestine summit during the Second Neo-Zeon War. In addition to the expected high-ranking Earth Federation officials, the then Vice Chief of Staff was also in attendance, and a deal was struck in the name of peace. In all probability, those key Earth Federation figures did not realize that they were being manipulated. According to the testimony of an official from the Audit Bureau at the summit, the arrival of Shar Aznable himself came as a surprise. Shar Aznable had been operating from the shadows, and a lone Earth Federation Forces officer was relentlessly pursuing him. Namely, Amuro Ray, who was a lieutenant at the time. Although he was originally a civilian residing inside 7 during the One-Year War, he joined the fray in the Gundam, ultimately becoming an ace pilot feared by the Zeon forces. He remained in active service after the One-Year War, fought his way through the Grips War, and was later assigned to Londo Bell. Char Aznable and Amuro Ray. In the year UC 0093, both disappeared into the light beyond the stars. That was when the asteroid Axis, drawn in by Earth's gravity, suddenly became shrouded in a mysterious glow and shifted its course, avoiding a collision with the planet. Axis shock. The following is an examination of the fate that befell the two men who lay at the heart of the conflict between the Earth Federation forces and Neo-Zeon. Archival footage later revealed that Lieutenant Amuro Ray had crossed paths with the Neo-Zeon leader in Londinian during Char's rebellion.
What are you doing here?
Unlike you, I'm more than just a pilot.
What? As a former comrade, you have to tell me why you want to destroy the Earth.
Char Aznable must have felt disillusioned with those who pushed space emigration, as they continued to enjoy the fruits of living on Earth themselves. The Earth's inhabitants monopolized the planet, creating inequalities between them and everyone else. Inequalities not unlike the racial divides of the old era. This would lead to a war, which at one point claimed half of the total population, and yet no one took responsibility or acknowledged the root cause. Instead, they remained on Earth. Such actions only exacerbated the planet's environmental collapse. As Quattro Bagina, he witnessed how tragic that legacy was firsthand. Meanwhile, Amuro Ray understood that the system was broken, but he chose to remain in the Earth Federation forces to fix it from within.
You don't know what it means to change the world. Revolutions are dreamt up by intellectuals, but their aims are so unrealistic, they can only resort to drastic acts of violence. Once a revolution is over, its lofty ideals are lost amidst bureaucracy and the general public. Then, the intelligentsia withdraws from society and politics to keep its humanity.
Amuro Ray reportedly passed judgment on Char in those words. They both loved the Earth equally. They understood one another. Still, they never truly joined forces. Char Aznable, long regarded as a man destined to lead, chose to step into the shadow of Zeon Dae-kun, though he mocked himself as a mere fool for doing so.
Axis, time to go, and take your terrible memories with you.
Axis began its descent toward Earth. Special stages. The Changemakers. Stage 6. Axis Shock Penance.
Axis is accelerating. It's begun descending to Earth.
You'll have to do better.
My saber's weaker than his? If it hadn't been for you.
Lundo Bell paid the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that the operation was a success, resulting in Axis splitting in two. Eventually, the drop could not be carried out. Nevertheless, the shock was so tremendous that fragments of scattered debris, both large and small, showered down on the Earth as meteors. The Earth Federation officially confirmed that the aurora-like phenomenon seen across the world was caused by large amounts of debris falling into the atmosphere. Captain Bright Noah, who oversaw the operation, also submitted a report to Military High Command, stating that Lundo Bell had prevented the Axis drop according to plan. Following the battle, both Char Aznable and Amuro Ray were declared missing in action, and neither was seen again. Some have, however, raised doubts about the outcome of this operation based on the testimonies of surviving soldiers. Just as Axis veered off its descent trajectory, they observed a mysterious, luminous phenomenon surrounding the new Gundam, piloted by Lieutenant Amuro Ray. This event would later become known as the Axis Shock. According to the official view of the Earth Federation, this event was treated as an extremely rare natural phenomenon. Thereafter, journalists and insiders submitted a variety of evidence beyond the testimonials, but the Earth Federation never acknowledged anything diverging from its official account. Thus, Char's rebellion came to an end. Although localized skirmishes with remnants have since occurred, none have been so large as to threaten the entire Earth sphere. Now, a new age has begun, one in which there are no enemies left who stood against the Earth Federation government. Giran Zabi, Jamatov Haimam, Blex Forer, and Char Aznable. Although each differed in his methods, rhetoric, and extremism, they all essentially fought for the same cause. Specifically, they dreamed that all humanity would come to revere the Earth as a sacred home to be preserved and restore the natural environment by emigrating to space. To realize that dream, they rose up against the Earth Federation, fighting for Mother Earth and the future of the species. Ultimately, however, it was nothing but a dream. It would come to an end in UC 0100, when the autonomy of the Republic of Zeon was returned to the Earth Federation under the accord that ended the One-Year War. The administration system of the Earth sphere has been condemned through a perpetual state of war for allowing Earth's inhabitants, specifically cabinet members of the Earth Federation government, to exploit exceptions in the Space Emigration Act. It would be fair to say that this system has been normalized. Since Char's rebellion, Earth's population has only continued to grow steadily, with the majority of its inhabitants identified as either government officials or people involved with them. Continued in Part 7, The Rightful Prophet King. The following scene depicts a mass crackdown conducted in Davao. Heavy weaponry, armored vehicles, and even mobile suits were deployed, and the officers trained their weapons on the throngs of people attempting to flee. The targets of the crackdown were the so-called illegal residents of the city. The term refers to individuals who reside on Earth without the proper authorization from the Earth Federation, including those who descended during various conflicts. They are arrested and deported to space, where they are subjected to sentencing and held accountable for their offense. In the current era of the universal century, living on Earth constitutes a crime. The year is UC 0105, and the inequalities created by the special provisions of the Space Emigration Act remain deeply rooted. The divide between Earth and space shows no sign of closing. Looking at the breakdown of Earth's inhabitants, the vast majority are made up of privileged classes, starting with the ministers of the Earth Federation government and those connected to them. The rest are composed of ordinary citizens, whose role is to sustain the social life of the privileged and enhance their lifestyles, and of unauthorized residents who remain on Earth without approval. When Earth's population fell to levels last seen in the early 20th century, the environment finally began to show signs of restoration, becoming more suitable to life. For spacenoids, that fact was of little consolation. The Earth Federation conveniently reframed the situation, all but abandoning its core mission of space emigration for all humanity. In a clear abuse of power, many desperately attempted to justify their right to live on Earth by leveraging the improving state of the natural environment as a pretext. Those living on Earth refused to acknowledge their own self-serving arrogance, however. It should come as no surprise that this enraged the spacenoids. Nevertheless, so long as they remain isolated in the vacuum, the voices of spacenoids will never reach the central government. The sheer physical distance between Earth and space prevents that. Still, some recognized the danger posed by the Earth Federation and took action. They chose to resist through the grim means of terrorism. The Hounds in Flight 356. A shuttle operating between the Moon and Earth that caters exclusively to the choicest clientele. Its luxurious lounge-style interior is popular among many Earth Federation cabinet members, and the shuttle promises a comfortable voyage through space. However, in UC 0105, tragedy struck Hounds in Flight 356. Namely, a hijacking. The incident claimed the lives of several cabinet members and their families, but the hijackers were subdued by an ordinary citizen and an Earth Federation Forces officer who happened to be on board. The officer was Kenneth Slegg, who would go on to command the SOTSU unit. In another coincidence, Hathaway Noah, the son of a heroic Earth Federation Forces officer, was also on the passenger manifest and reportedly assisted Colonel Kenneth. After the hijackers were subdued, the Hunzen made an emergency landing in Davao instead of its original destination of Adelaide. The passengers were then placed under military surveillance and asked to cooperate with an investigation. Of course, there was a reason for the military intervening instead of the police. The hijackers had identified themselves as members of Mafti Aaron. The Anti-Earth Federation group known as Mafti is a terrorist organization that targets Earth Federation cabinet members for assassination. However, later investigations revealed that the hijackers were imposters, illegal residents who falsely claimed the name Mafti. The Davao Tasaday Hotel, tailored for executives seeking a relaxing vacation in the Philippines. Among the passengers aboard the hijacked shuttle Hunzen, many were scheduled to attend an upcoming conference of Earth Federation cabinet ministers in Adelaide. They had been scheduled to stay at the hotel for a few days, or so was the plan. A single flash of light pierced through the glittering night streets. It was an attack carried out by Mafti's mobile suit. The Earth Federation forces deployed mobile suits to intercept the nocturnal assailants, and as a firefight broke out, the city plunged into chaos. City archives preserve photographs and footage of civilians fleeing in panic as beam fire crisscrosses the city streets. Buildings were destroyed, and the city was engulfed in flames. The disaster claimed the lives of many and left countless more missing. Mafti issued a statement directed at the Earth Federation that reaffirmed the single-minded consistency of their message. They demanded the Earth Federation enforce a policy mandating all humanity leave the Earth in order to cleanse the planet. And until that demand was met, they would continue to target key Earth Federation figures for assassination. Their methods are extreme, but their grievances are not new. They are the same ones that Spacenoids have made throughout the conflicts of the universal century. To preserve the Earth, that is why they fight. However, this sentiment does not appear to strike a chord with Earth's inhabitants.
Mafti's got his head in too many books. He wants us all to go to space in the end, doesn't he? I don't get that, you know? It's not like you can't breathe the air here in Davao, am I right?
But I hear there are fewer and fewer trees. And the fish aren't biting much either, right?
Yeah, but there's enough to go around for us island folks.
But it sounds like Mafti's talking about the Earth 1,000 years from now.
Ha 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 ha! He's sure got a lot of time on his hands. I'm too busy just getting by to think that far ahead.
The words of the taxi driver working in Davao offer a glimpse into the mindset of those living on Earth. What was it that drove humanity into space? By the 100th year of the universal century, the sense of reality that was felt when the Space Emigration Act was enacted had been lost. Special stages, the Changemakers. Stage 7, the rightful Prophet King.
You're going down. It'll be sorted out one way or another. I'll get through this. Just watch. You're through.
As long as there are exceptions to the rules, people will try to cheat. This is not only true of the Earth Federation, it is self-evident throughout human history. It has been said that water flows downhill. Even the noblest intentions are pulled toward the path of least resistance. Perhaps some would have called this temptation gravity. And under that very gravitational pull, Mafty acquired a Gundam. Their stated position warrants re-examination. They are not attempting to overthrow the Earth Federation. Rather, they are pleading with the government to fulfill its original purpose. Just like many instigators of the past, to protect the Earth's environment. Yet they are far from foolish enough to think the world can be reshaped by sheer force or violence. So then, what exactly have they accomplished? And what are they trying to convey to the Earth sphere? What is the light that they wish for, which will change the structure of the world? A deadline is approaching. To be continued in Hathaway, The Sorcery of Nymph Circe. Special stages, the Changemakers, hard stage 1. Special stages, the Changemakers, hard stage 2. Special stages, the Changemakers, Hard Stage 3.
Thank you.